All right, here we go. Welcome, 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 and hello to ZBrush Live. My name is Kermanikian, and I will be your host for the next couple of hours or so. And that's why I do an audio check at the beginning of every one of these things, because I just want to make sure everybody can hear me okay. We had a few technical issues today. That's why we started a little bit late, but hopefully we can move along. If you guys have any questions, ask them during the stream. And if you're watching this after the fact, you can leave your questions in the comments, and hopefully somebody will get back to you. So good audio today. All right, great. Yep. And then, yeah, I made some changes. That's kind of why I started a little bit late. So I'm hoping today will be faster. My internet speed looks really good. Everything looks tip-top. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Wow, there's quite a few on there, and again, welcome aboard. I just want to make sure, let me check something here. I want to make sure that we don't have any of those people coming in and interrupting us. So far it looks good, and yeah, we can go ahead and get started. So we're continuing to work on this mech. We're continuing to refine and get to look better. I'm going to use a new Kitbash kit today. Not new to me. I've purchased it a while back. It's this one by ZBrush, and it's actually a pretty good Kitbash kit. One of the better ones out there, and I think the modeling on it is somewhat decent, so we should have some good results with it. Is this it? I want to make sure I'm using the right one. But yeah, we're going to use a new Kitbash kit, add some more parts to our model. Or is this the one? I think this is the one. Yeah, the one I was showing you earlier was the one we used last time. So yeah, this one has much better topology, and I think the nice thing also about this one is that it's all in separate parts. So it has 300 different pieces, and all of them are sub D, more or less. So they will work a lot better than what we had before. And so, yeah, we're going to be using some of these parts and kitbashing some more onto the mech. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one. Then I think we exhausted everything we did with this one. And I'm going to go ahead and free up some of my memory here by not having this be loaded. So, oops, cancel, delete all. Okay. And here we go. I, again, was super busy with work this week, so got very little time, a little bit before I started the stream, just to do a little bit of cleanup. At least I wanted to rename everything, but I didn't get a chance to do that. But at least I can, I have the hull all in one piece. I have the arms kind of all in one piece, so at least they're in folders, and that might make finding things easier and isolating things easier. All right, these are not Kitbash 3D, no. Kitbash 3D has some good stuff. I've purchased, I think, the Neo Tokyo set from them. They have good buildings, they have good stuff. I think that they were doing new Kitbash parts, but I haven't really purchased theirs. I did get one, the Mech kit from Jama Jurabaev, and that was a really neat one. I probably will use that at some point. Yeah, and yeah, thank you. All right. So yeah, Kitbash 3D parts are good. I think that's a pretty nice company. And I probably, if I was doing buildings or something, I would use them. And I haven't even looked at their other Kitbash parts lately. I'll take a look and see if they've got Mech parts. I'll get them. But this one I'm using is by ZBrush, and it's of all the ones that I've gotten so far, this one's the one that has kind of decent topology. It's sub D, so like if I press D here, you'll notice that it becomes really nice. It doesn't have that weird janky stuff that some of the CAD produced Kitbash parts have. So and also modifying these will be a lot easier, which is very preferable when you're doing kit bashing, because the last thing you want to do is have things look the way they are. You want to personalize them and use them on your model. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and see. I think today I wanted to work more on this kind of the bottom part of these legs, the bottom part of these arms, and just kind of more on the extremities. I think we're doing pretty good with the hull. I might add a few more details, but I kind of like how simple it is. It looks really nice and simple from the top. Like this view right here is a pretty neat view. If I do a quick render of this, you guys will see that it looks pretty good. I've got my polyframe on, so let me turn that off. Yeah, exactly. Kemi, you are saying the exact right thing there, that if it is good, then you can modify it to your liking. Okay, so I think the audio is good. I think everybody can hear me. Otherwise, people would have complained. Everybody jumped in at the beginning, so it looks like we're getting a lot of chatter from YouTube and also from, let's see, can people on Twitch hear me? Wall patterns in ZBrush? Yeah, you can make wall patterns, sure. There's so many different ways you can do that solo. To make wall patterns, I think, I don't know if you're talking about textures or if you're talking about like paneling type of walls, or if you can specify, you know, and there again, there's so many ways. There's micro poly, there's textures, there's array mesh, there's nano mesh. There's so many ways you can do that. Patterns are definitely a thing you can do well in ZBrush. All right, so I'm just going to straighten this out. So here again, we're just refining these arms. Let me just focus more on these legs. So I'm going to remove some of these other parts just to kind of create less of a focus, and then we're just going to see if we can do some stuff here. I kind of don't really like, I mean, I like how these are looking, but they're really kind of very bland. These cables are really bland, so maybe start adding some subdivisions. And okay, so on YouTube, audio is okay, yep. And then wall patterns, again, if you could specify more of what kind of wall patterns you want, I'll try and answer that for you. But here, let's go ahead and let me go to my move brush. We're trying to get these to kind of work a little bit cleaner and a little bit better. I know what you mean about time. Yeah, I would like to follow all of them too. Everybody on this channel on ZBrush Live is really good, and I try to watch them whenever I can. They're good to have while you're working. They're good to have on while you're working on stuff. Like if I'm working at work and just kind of zoning out and working on specific things, I usually have something or another on in the background just to kind of have some background noise and you know, just be listening to something while I'm working. And usually I pick something up here and there. But some people, I don't want to do that. I just want to intently watch their stuff because, you know, I don't want to miss anything that they're doing. So it all depends. But yeah, there's you know, I'm going to do the kind of the, you know, stories from the olden times, olden days thing, and just say that I remember the only way you could watch stuff was if you watched the Gnomon VHS tapes. That was the only way you could watch CG stuff, and now there's just a glut of them on YouTube, as well as like 100 different services. So I guess that's a good thing. The problem now is you don't know what's good and what's bad. So there's just so many that there are some that are kind of horrible. Some give wrong information. So, you know, the good news is if you watch ZBrush Live, there's always good people on here. They always pick some great artists. to do their stuff. And of course, you know, Gnomon still has great stuff. They have a streaming channel. You can watch them as well. Maxon has good stuff if you're interested in Maxon stuff. So many great places to learn from. There's this guy at my work who learned everything mostly from YouTube and then went to school just to get a degree, which is kind of interesting. But most of what he learned from YouTube before he even went to school. Young kid too, really smart. All right. Silver company. I don't know, Kemi, I don't know what you mean about a silver company. What's a silver company? Like a company that is has old people working there, or do you actually work with the silver ore, or what? I'm kind of a bit uncertain about what you're saying. All right, let's see. Kind of beating up this topology. Let me see. Let me solve this out. Yeah, this thing is composed of multiple parts. Some of these I don't see here, so I'm not going to really worry about the parts I don't see, but the parts that I do see, I want them to look good. And there seems to be like some weird thing over here. Did I see that right? No, it's good. Yeah, I mean, the topology on this is not too bad, but it, again, is not as nice as it could be. All right, let's go back to it and unsolo. Oh, for actual silver, yeah. All right, cool. It's pretty wild. Speaking of 3D printing, I'm thinking of jumping back in. I kind of have a printer in mind. And yeah, I'm thinking of jumping back in. I kind of decided not to do it for a while, but there is one that's pretty inexpensive and produces really good results. Has an air purifier. So I'm not going to be as worried about the fumes, and has some very promising capabilities. So yeah, getting back into the 3D printing thing. I don't know. Is there a printer that prints with silver? I don't know if there is. I know there are some that print with gold and silver, or like precious metals. I'm not sure. That would be nice. Silver is not usually a thing that they use for statues as much. It's usually bronze or yeah, if it's really precious, it's gold, but seems to me like an overkill. I would think bronze would be a good mainstay for statues. Oh, they print it and then they cast it, of course. Yeah, that makes sense. Wow. A tank that was $13,000. Yikes. I can totally see that, like, in somebody's house. Check out my $13,000 silver tank. All right, I'm going to remesh this again, just get some better topology around it. Not that the topology was bad, but I think I just want to kind of straighten it out a bit. It looks to be like there's something that went over here, but I don't know what that is. Maybe another cable or something. Let's put in another cable. All right, so I'm just going to make one over here. Why is there a spiral 3D here? Let's delete that. Okay. Oh, I guess this is the spiral 3D. All right, so let's go to this one here and let's get cylinder. So I guess this is a good part to see how cables are made. And I'm just going to do something a little bit simpler like this one. Hello, here it is. Okay, and then get rid of this one right here. W. Put this in the center, and let's make this a little bit long because it's going to be a long cable. Maybe it's a little bit too thick. Let's make it thinner, maybe like that. And I'm just going to copy this and paste it over here. This would be a good idea to just kind of get an idea of how long we need this cable to be. This kind of looks like a chess horse. It's kind of funny. All right, let's just pop it in here. Yep, definitely too big. Let's make it smaller. All right, and we're going to have this thing go somewhere down here. So I'm just going to make it small like this, and just let's move it into place, just kind of roughly. Got a weird angle on it. Back. Right. Here we go. And it's going to go over here. That, and I don't really need it to be this long. Oops. And maybe something like this. Okay, so this is kind of the important part. Oh, did I mess up the no, it's still a cylinder. All right. I've got a bunch of people saying stuff. Sorry, I'm not responding. I just want to make sure I get this thing done. So let's see, right about here. It's gonna originate from the same area, but it's going to veer out. Okay, so it's coming out there. It's going in here. We're all good. All right. So now what I want to do is add some subdivisions to this. So I'm going to solo this out. And I think there was one here called multi-slice. Is that the one? And turn polyframe on and resolution. This one? Yeah, here we go. This will do it. So multi-slice will just kind of add a little bit of edge loops. I can also do this in ZModeler as well, but I just want to add some edge loops here just to kind of get this thing to be, you know, to have a little bit more divisions. And then I'm going to accept this. And I'm going to go back into here and I'm going to do the bend curve. And of course I want to add some more points, which is not smoothness, not axis, curve resolution. Yeah, I want to add a little bit more points like this. And let's go back here. And I don't need to mirror this thing just yet. I think this thing is a little bit still too tall. I can make it a little bit shorter. Okay, let's go back to the bend curve. I think I'm going to go with less resolution for now. Maybe that many. And start moving this into place. Oh, this is so cool. Best way to make cables in ZBrush is this way right here. I know other programs have great cabling stuff, but this here is boss. All right, let's see. Let's read some of the things. Just getting loads of money. Okay, great. Do not give up. Who's giving up? Just seen it. Nice work. I'm still waiting on that. Oh, too funny. All right, and post your tank. I can post links, but I told the site adjust so you guys can see ZBrush can make you. Okay, great. The wheel of brushes, IVN, even Maturana. Anyway, this thing right here, this is part of Wacom. So, or Wacom, no, it's Wacom is the way to pronounce it. You know, Wacom is the wrong way to pronounce it. But basically, in the Wacom preferences, like if you bring this thing up right here, right, you just can make these under functions. So you go to functions, and then you create a panel. So you just click on this plus, you create a panel, and then you assign keystrokes to it, and then basically this is what happens. So one of my one key is, or my two keys move. My one key is ZModeler. My three key is Damian Standard. So here I basically assigned a keystroke to every one of these kind of pie areas. And then I've assigned this to the button here on the Wacom 3D mouse. And then I basically just press that button and this menu comes up. It's a quick way for me to pick these brushes. These are the ones I use all the time. So that's my primary, and then if I want to use, this is my secondary set of brushes right here. So that's another hotkey that brings them up, and then I've got another set of brushes, which is a lot more of them, that is in this menu. And as you can see here, I've got a lot more that come up. And let me just reset my UI here, preferences, config, restore, custom UI, there we go. So yeah, so I've got a lot more brushes here, all, and then of course there's the B menu that has like a million brushes. So, 4 levels of brush selection. It's pretty wild. I've been using a lot of brushes that I haven't been using lately at work, which is kind of cool. Like I'm currently I'm working on hair, so I'm using some hair brushes that I've had forever, but I've never really made and worked on hair before, but I knew someday I would, so now is that time. All right, let's see. Wacom makes ZBrush freeze. I've never had issues with Wacom. I've been using it for years. It's been super, super solid. I don't know what you're talking about, bud. Make sure you have the latest drivers, and yeah. But no, I've never had a Wacom issue with ZBrush. So yeah, it could be something else. I mean, I would tell you if things crash. I'm not shy about saying this crashes or that crashes, but I've never really had an issue with Wacom. There are some new tablets out there. I know. You can try those out if Wacom's giving you trouble, but again, I think it's probably going to be something else. Well, to each their own. That's why you can customize your menus and that's why I don't have people use my menus, because I want them to work the way they want to work. Some people like working a certain way, other people don't. So hey, whatever works for you, bud, do that. Okay, let's see. You can turn them off. Okay, yeah, they may sometime, but hey, that's just me. I don't know. I maybe I don't know which tablet you have and which driver version and which whatever, but I would definitely say take some of that tank money that you have and maybe get a new one. See if you have the same problem. Do you use a Cintiq or do you use a tablet? Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, they put in special, they basically, they have a special version for you. There's a whole developer team. They're like, make his crash because he... All right, so this is looking a little bit better. Sorry, I've kind of been just focusing on this one area. But this cable looks good now, so I'm just going to go ahead and select it. And mirror it to the other side. There we go. That's starting to look better. Now, I don't know what's going on with this thing over here, so I'm going to make that work a little bit better. So let me turn on polyframe. Yeah, here it's looking okay, but it doesn't look like a cable. It looks like it has weird subdivision levels, so I need some more subdivision levels. What happens if I smooth it? That's not bad. It's not good either. All right. All right. All right, so what's been going on? Last episode of Better Call Saul, that was pretty neat. Ended a little bit kind of weird. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. That ended. For All Mankind season ended. Two really good shows. Kind of excited for the Lord of the Rings series coming to Amazon, and also the Game of Thrones dragons. Like, CG on those dragons looks so good. I wonder if they use the same company or if the new company is doing them. But who doesn't like dragons breathing fire? Damn, Cami, you're still talking about your Wacom issues? Let's talk about something else. All right, so now I'm just going to use ZModeler slide. These kind of have moved around, so I'm just going to move this topology down so it's not so funky. I mean, I don't think this stuff's going to show. I don't need to insert anything, so I just want these to move down. Q mesh anything. I'm going to turn that off if it happens one more time, and then just smooth out these lines like so. I think I can now add a couple edge loops over here just to hold this thing into place. 1, 2. Yeah, let's see. Rick and Morty don't like dragons. Oh, really? You know, I never knew there was an Art of Rick and Morty book. I saw it the other day. It blew me away. It's pretty funny. I didn't pick it up, though. I'm running out of space for books. I've got so many. I did pick up a few new books, though, I have to say. Yeah. Now we're crunching on this project at work, and it's been fun, but man, are we doing the impossible in the shortest amount of time. It's crazy. We're doing it though. We're making it work. I'm just going to select this one piece over here. All right, let's see. Everybody's gone quiet. Kemi, start talking about Wacom again. Oh. No, I know. It's like, you know, I know exactly what you mean. Like, you have one thing that keeps causing issues and you can't figure it out. I had an issue like that with my sound card, and then I finally gave up and just bought another one. And the problem went away. whatever I did, it just didn't solve the problem. Like, troubleshot it, looked it up, tweaked the settings, and finally just gave up, went and bought something else. All right, this is kind of looking neat, like this, just on its own. All right. I wonder if I can do away with this piece. Like, what if I just get rid of it? Let's see. It's such a pleasure to be doing this versus what I do at work. Because what I do at work is very prescriptive. Like, it's very limited to what the project is. And so there really is no time to play. It's mostly just production work, like with very tight deadlines and really, you know, strict rules. But with this, I can just play. So I am really looking forward to when I can stream. The problem is I want to do some things off camera and I'm not getting the time because I'm just so busy. But I think my part of the project might be slowing down a little bit, so I might have time in the next few weeks. I don't know. Who knows? Every time I think that, something new comes out. I think this is going to be the you know, explain the wheel channel. I think, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a YouTube video that explains it. I'll tell you what it is, Andro, LCX. I definitely will tell you what it is, but I also will create a video, a YouTube video, because I get asked that all the time. So I'll just kind of paste the link to that YouTube video and people can find out. But basically the wheel, this thing is part of Wacom tablet capabilities, and basically it's a very simple thing. All you do is just go into the Wacom settings, like so, if it comes up, and you go under functions, and then basically you can create panels, and these panels could be anything. And so you can create these radial panels. So you just click on plus here and then you choose radial. And then you basically assign a keystroke to every one of these things over here. So I just have a keystroke, like my 2 keystroke is move. So when I press, you know, when I click on this move, it presses the 2 key, and then I get the move brush. And what I've done is I've assigned that wheel here under, I don't know where it is, but somewhere in here, I think in the pen 3D, Pro Pen 3D, there it is. So you see that this button right here is assigned to that wheel. So then when I press that button while I'm working, it comes up. And it's a fast way for me to cycle through brushes. I like it a lot. And it's proven to be super, super useful. I'm waiting for the day where I can, with my mind, tell ZBrush what brush to use, but until that technology is available, I have to still, I'm using kind of this primary, secondary, and tertiary way of doing it. Okay, what's going on here? No, it's not ZBrush. This is not a ZBrush thing. It's a Wacom thing. And I'm sure that other tablets might have interesting functions like that. I know some tablets have like a little thing you, like a little panel or something that you hold, and then you can press buttons on that. Some people like that way of working, so I don't know. Oh, interesting. So I turned the buttons off on my tablet. So here I'll show you guys. That's kind of a funny thing that you just said, because this is a good funny story. So when I go into my settings here, you will notice that for the button functions here, so express keys, like I have all of them disabled except this top one. And the reason why I've disabled them is because my cat jumps on my desk and walks onto the tablet and starts pressing those buttons with her feet. Like, not intentionally, but she does. And then, like, stuff happens that I don't want to have happen. So I've disabled them. I don't use them at all. I just use my keyboard and that menu, and that's it. Speaking of which, I think she heard her voice, so she's coming over. So we might have a cat sighting today. Am I using a 16-inch or 24-inch Wacom tablet? I'm just using the Intuos Pro, just the regular Intuos Pro tablet. It's not a Cintiq. It's not the one with the monitor. And I kind of like working this way. It's so funny, when I started at my work, they asked me, they're like, you want a Cintiq probably, and I'm like, no. And they were like, really? Every ZBrush artist we've talked to uses a Cintiq, and I'm like, yeah, there's plenty that don't too. I guess I don't have the problem with disassociating the screen from my hand. Like some people have that issue. I don't have that problem. But I do use Cintiqs as well. Like I have a portable Cintiq Mobile Pro, it's called, or whatever, which is like the laptop and Cintiq, everything all in one. So when I used to do freelance and I had to be at a client site for a long time, I would take that with me instead of carrying a laptop and a tablet and it's all kind of in one, which is pretty neat. Okay, so this is kind of looking good. I need to figure out a Kitbash part to put in here. All right, let's see. Yeah, big hands. Yeah. I know. These buttons are kind of pointless, if you ask me. I think there's this new company that makes a tablet called Sense Labs with an X. Sense Labs, and what they do is they don't have any buttons on the tablet. They just have this thing on the side that you can use. I think that's a smart thing to do. Yeah, with the bamboo tablet, I know a lot of ZBrush artists that do exactly that. Like, like super duper amazing, like top of the line ZBrush artists that use bamboo or use like a smaller, use a small Wacom tablet, Intuos tablet. They don't even use the medium one. So. Yeah, I mean, people think it's the equipment, but it's really not. I mean, of course, you have to be comfortable with what you're using, but like if you're a good ZBrush artist, you're not going to be better if you get a Cintiq or get something else. But if you're a 2D artist, I think for Photoshop and whatnot, I think maybe that's better. Like I've heard Photoshop artists swear by Cintiq tablets, so I don't know. I could never really afford one when I started, and now that I can, I just am happy with the way things are working. No reason to spend money on that. I do want to get a new computer at some point, but that whole thing is really a bit confusing right now too, because I was going to go with Alder Lake, which is the new Intel spec and the chips that are out now. So I was going to do that. But Raptor Lake is around the corner, which is their next generation. And then they've got a whole other thing coming in after that as well. So I'm kind of confused. I don't know. I guess I'll just move that way. I also was thinking at some point of going with AMD Threadripper. A lot of friends of mine have that, and they are saying great things about it. But the price on those has gone up too. The new ones are like, the Threadripper Pros are super expensive. So I don't know. And I've always kind of been an Intel guy, so I think I'll just wait a little bit longer. Wow, 100 messages, and I'm not even at halftime. Yay! I don't know if I get anything for that. Any recommendation with merging subtools? I was running into issues with Dynamesh after merging. Well, I mean, if you merge subtools and you Dynamesh, they're going to all become one, right? And if you don't want that to happen, then don't Dynamesh them. Do something else. But the one thing I could say about merging that is like, you know, one of those things where, you know, you want to just murder ZBrush because it does it, is that when you merge stuff, like when you go to the merge menu, merge down, UV is off by default, and if you have UVs on your parts and you merge them down, you'll lose your UVs, and then there's no way to undo. So whenever I am going to merge down, I kind of always want to make sure that UV is on, and I haven't figured out a way to turn it on by default. So that is my merge down advice for everybody, is make sure if you have UVs that you check this box before you merge it down. But if you're going to merge something and you're going to Dynamesh it, that's going to basically fuse the parts together. And I know Dynamesh will have problems if there's like a, you know, there's an inside part or whatever, so make sure, you know, you kind of get things to be a little bit more airtight before you do that. I'm trying to kind of figure out this border over here, and I'm really not doing a good job. Come on, maybe, what does the inside look like? Doesn't look too bad. I wonder if I could bring this down, if that would work. Can't bring it down too much. Let me try this. Let's see. Yep, Jibber Magash is basically, yes, that's the name of the company. You know, it's funny. I know a lot of people that work there. A lot of old Wacom people work there, which is kind of weird. Yeah, I like their. I mean, their tablet looks good. I haven't used it. I think Pavlovich did a review, and he seems to be okay with it. You can go watch that. Michael Pavlovich, his channel. And he's definitely an amazing ZBrush artist and a really good teacher. Has some great tutorials. So yeah, and he reviewed it, so he seems to think it's good, and so it's good that there's an alternative. I just have used Wacom forever. Like this tablet that I have, it's the surface of it wore out, and I actually ordered another surface, like another surface for it, and I always get like nibs. These things wear out all the time, so I went through all the ones that come with it, and then I went out and bought some more. It's because that's all I use all the time. Oh, did Kemi leave? I don't know. Are you still with us, Kemi, or did he tank out? Oh, that's so funny. Oh no, did I piss him off? I hope I didn't piss him off. I don't want to piss anybody off. I really appreciate everybody who's on here. I don't want to piss anybody off. I want people to be happy. He's angry because he might be angry because, or maybe he just, you know, I'm going to fix this Wacom issue once and for all. Do you know Kemi from another stream or something? Or do you know him in person? Do you know him IRL? All right, I've been spending too much time on this thing. I need to move on, but it's looking better. I'm going to do one more thing to it, which is this. There we go. All right, so now this is kind of looking a little bit more promising, and I can't stop working on this part. Okay. Oh, that's right. He said he was a first timer. Yeah. Ex Wacom staff working at Pixelogic Maxon. No. The ex Wacom people don't work at Pixelogic. They work for Sense Labs or Zensi. Sense. You want to say Zensi, but it's Sense Labs. That's who they work for. These guys used to be with Wacom forever, and now they're there. I had a good friend that worked at Wacom, but he retired. All right, I think I'm gonna stop working on this part before I mess it up too much. All right, let's go over and see if we can find something interesting over here. I like this because like all these parts look like they could be useful in the way they are, and they could also, you know, be modified to do something else. You know, I like there are all these pistons which should be useful. There's this part that could be useful. I'm not going to show any springs on this thing because I don't think, look at that. These things could be super useful. All right, so let me go to this one here. I think I'm going to see if I can find a good place for this part. You know what kind of cracks me up sometimes is that some people buy these things and then they make, like they use all these parts to make one thing. Like they make a mech just from these parts. It's always funny. I wonder if this will work on one of the... Yeah, let me see here. I'm going to copy it. So I don't need to use my my little macro Kitbash duplicate with this too, because these parts are all separated out already for me. So I don't even need to do that. I just go over here. Paste it. What scale it's at, and there it is. It's a bit gigantic, but I wonder if this makes sense at the end over here. I don't know if it makes sense for the leg. It might make sense for one of the arms, so maybe I'll use it for that. Can I repurpose it for something else though? No, I don't think this is going to work here. So, nope. What's a good project for a first portfolio, like creature or props oriented? I don't know. I usually tell my students that they should cater their portfolio to where they want to get a job. I mean, if you're making a portfolio, you obviously are doing it to get a job somewhere. And if you're doing that, then like it wouldn't be crazy for you to have a portfolio that is focused on creatures if you're applying to a company where you're going to do hard surface stuff, or have characters where you're going to be working on environments. So the best thing to do for a portfolio is look at the company and what they do, and if it's a game company, just get some of the art books for their games or whatever, and do stuff kind of along that vein. But I mean, you don't have to do exactly the same thing that their people are doing, because they already have people doing that stuff. But you can do similar things or better or different variation of that, or do something of that sort. Let's see. Because Maxon took over and I still had an old license. It's an awesome tool. More C4D and I have many questions. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like anything's happened since they got purchased by Maxon. I think things are looking a little bit better. They haven't changed the pricing or anything like that. Houdini user. VFX Vision, yeah. I don't, Houdini is like one of those things. I've worked with a lot of artists that use them, do great things with them, but doesn't seem like my kind of thing. But I'm sure it's amazing, and if I had to, I would probably work on it and love it. But I know a lot of people do amazing stuff with it, so yeah, it's great that you use it. Saw me once at one of the Nomen events, put all of his top number keys on a group of 10 subtools for a tank. Okay. Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can customize it. Are you talking about this thing right here? This isn't mine. This is actually, I'm sorry, not that one, but this one, this Kitbash kit is not mine. This is JRO, the letters. I should just look him up and bring it up. JRO Tools. He's on ArtStation and whatever. I just purchased this a while back, and I've been meaning to use it. So here we go. Here's ArtStation, and let's see. Let's go to. Yeah, this is it. I guess his name is Kian Kazemi. Is that it, or I don't know. Yeah, and these are all the pieces. And if you go to Marketplace, I think. Type in JRO. Oops, a little bit NSFW stuff there. Here we go. This is the kit right here. So there is a, it's 24 bucks. Well worth it though. And I think he's got, it said free. I don't know if there's a sample you can download. But yeah, it was pretty neat. So yeah, these are the parts I'm using. So you can see somebody took all the parts and made this model. It's kind of funny. Made this car. Made these little mechs, so you can just use this kit to do to do the stuff. It's pretty funny. All right, so ZBrush is saving. I'll let it do it. I do have a Kitbash kit that I've made. I will sell it at some point, but making something is one thing, and then packaging it is a whole other thing, and then putting it online and doing all that stuff. I will find the time one day and do it, but not now. All right. All right. Let's see. This thing's scrolling by pretty fast. It's a nice group of people today. Thank you for all your amazing conversation. All right. So sometimes, a lot of times, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think, I remember when I first started, I used to see the artists do things, and I'd be like, damn, I want to do that, I want to do that. But it takes a long time and perseverance. But if you keep at it, one day, it will work. All right, I just brought a part in. Kind of a pretty common looking part. So here's kind of why I like this. Is because I'm going to use this kind of over here, I guess. But I don't know if it's going to work right off the bat. So I'm going to first try and put it there. Maybe like that. But you can see this has kind of a signature look to it, so it's not really going to conform too well with what I have. but maybe I can change it around a bit. So I want this to be a lot thinner. And I want the certain parts of it to be longer. Now, since this is a really good, decent Kitbash kit, and I mean, you can see here the topology is kind of, you know, here you've got these poles or whatever, but they're on a flat surface. They work really well. But if I want to make it longer over here, you can see it's kind of geared to work that way. So here I'm just going to move my gizmo over to this way and just make this part longer. And this is kind of one of the benefits of working with a good Kitbash kit like this one, because now you can modify it, right? And so it's not really what it was like when you got it, and then you can make some changes to it. So here I'm just going to make a few changes to it. And you can see here that I'm managing to do those without completely destroying it. But if this was a CAD Kitbash kit, then it would be a nightmare to do this kind of stuff. I mean, there's some stuff you can do with Extender, and there's some stuff you can do with some of the capabilities that come with ZBrush, but they're pretty limited. But when you have something like this, it works really well. And also, like here, I want to close this off. I can do it just by using ZBrush. So I'm going to Q-mesh this and bring it all the way, snaps over, bring this all the way, snaps over, and I'm going to do these top parts as well. Right? So this is another thing that I can do here, whereas if this was a CAD-based Kitbash kit, it would have given me some problems. I mean, again, it's not just full-on, it works, but it definitely does more than the other ones. So here I'm going to do an insert, multiple edge loops, set this to 1. See, it's easy for me to just modify this thing, whereas I wouldn't be able to do that if this Kitbash kit was not conducive to this kind of work. All right, so there's that, and then maybe extend this out a little bit like this. There we go. So now you can see it's a completely different piece than what I started out with, and it's kind of doing the things I wanted to do. So I'm just going to extend this a bit out and extend this a bit out as well. I haven't angled this right yet, but I'm just getting it to do what I want it to do. No, I don't want to do that. Oops. All right, that. Press W, bring this in. There we go. Okay, this is what I want. So let's go ahead and start. I guess I did angle it. Cool, cool, cool. Let me see if I can put this along where I want it to go. And I might need to adjust the thing that's going inside of it to conform to it, right? So here we go. This is kind of how I want to use a Kitbash part, where I'm not, you know, I'm kind of not fighting the design as much. I think I made this a little bit too thin. All right, and then I'm just going to conform this to work better inside of it. All right, let's see. Jonas Ronegard. Okay, yeah, it's Jonas Ronegard is his name. Yeah, it's not what I said before. There he is. Yeah, and he's got some interesting. He's got a whole bunch of stuff. He's got tutorials and a lot of goodies. So definitely check him out. I think I have a few of his things, yeah, so he makes good stuff. So Jonas Ronegard is his name. He's got a website, Jero. Oh, I guess he's in Japan. Nice. And so he's got a website with his tools, and then he also sells them on ArtStation and Gumroad and I don't know where. So and what really encourages me is that he said this is his volume 1, so hopefully he'll make more. And you know, I mean, these are the kinds of things I will buy with pleasure because it's well worth the money. You just know they spent the time. A lot of these artists, they basically make their CAD, I mean, the parts look good, but they make them in CAD programs. And when they make them in CAD programs, what happens is, again, the topology is just really restrictive. So you can either use them as is, which I never do, or modifying them. There's only so many things you can do to modify them before they break. And as people know, I do like to Kitbash. So I have no problems Kitbashing at all. I mean, it would be great if I could had the time to make my own Kitbash kits and make a whole bunch of them and just use my own Kitbash kits, but no. Doesn't work that way. All right, so now that works. All right, so let's go ahead and pop that part on the other side. Hello. All right, so this is kind of looking interesting, but it's not really fitting with the design up here. But I can, again, it's modifiable geometry. Oh, I don't want to do that. I can go ahead and start doing some things to it. So here I'm just going to smooth out these parts, but not this one over here because it just completely melted down. So let's mask these and let's see. Did I copy it over to the other side? Where is it? I guess I didn't mirror it. Let's do this, okay, and let's turn symmetry on, and yeah, so we can see both sides. All right. Oh, really? You struggle with UVing? It's actually not that hard. ZBrush's UVing is pretty amazing. Like UV Master is just, I end up using that all the time at work. But you know, sometimes I have to jump into Maya. I like Maya's UV tools. Since they incorporated what's it called? Unfold 3D, or I think something like that. The new kind of UVing capabilities in Maya make it possible to UV. And I mean new, it's not brand new. It's been there for, it's been there for a while. I'm still on Maya 2019 at home. At work, I'm on 2022. I can't really tell the difference, honestly. I mean, I don't use some of the new features. I guess if you're somebody who uses Bifrost or some of the Arnold capabilities, you probably are like, oh, how can you say that? But mostly for what I do, it's not that big of an improvement. And honestly, if they don't improve what I do, I'm happy to stay with 2019. I don't want to subscribe and get the new version if I can help it. It's funny, I used to spend most of my time in Maya and then start to use more ZBrush more and more. And then slowly but surely ZBrush took over. And now maybe about 70, no, what am I saying? About 80 to 90% of my time is in ZBrush. And then the rest, the other 20, 30% is in a bunch of different programs. Keyshot or... now I'm kind of using Redshift more since that's part of the Cinema 4D and ZBrush kind of Maxon family. And I used to use it before too. I kind of like Redshift. It's produces some really nice results. But I also use Keyshot a lot. The Keyshot bridge makes it super fun to use in ZBrush. So I'm still kind of like at work or for work. If I'm going to just churn something out pretty fast, I still go to Keyshot. But I know at some point I have to switch over. it's like I remember when I first got into using renderers, the renderer of choice was Mental Ray, and I spent a lot of money going and getting going to a training class in Mental Ray. And man, do those guys, like, I mean, it's an amazing program, does amazing things, but they spend so much time just talking about technical things. And it's like, dude, I'm an artist. I don't want to know about BRDF and all the other junk. Just, you know, I just want to drag materials. I just want to set up my lights. I don't really need to, you know how to land a rocket ship to render an image. And I think Keyshot was the first one that just made it exactly the way I wanted. Like, it just did everything the way I want to do it. So kudos to them. But even Keyshot now has a, what do you call it? A node editor, which it might not be intuitive to some people. I think it's fine. But I think at some point you definitely need to have something kind of, but again, it's not like, super nerdy stuff. It's still very art friendly. All right, let's see, a bunch of new stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's not a matter of being tech smart. It's just a matter of, like, getting from point A to point B and in the least amount of, like, distractions. That's another reason why I like ZBrush, is because, it's very artist friendly. And most of the other tools, like, some people say, there was a really good comparison. I just watched this video, which was a really cool comparison of showing, like, why people should use ZBrush versus Blender for certain things. And the person made a lot of sense. So it made a lot of sense about where ZBrush really shines versus where Blender really shines, and where people would want to use one or the other. And it depends on what kind of artist you are. I think for people who are kind of more inclined to work this way, it's going to be hard for them to use Blender instead. What's kind of funny is at one of the schools I teach at, or I used to teach at, I used to get students that used to come in and they used to say, oh my God, we hated Maya. We hate Maya. We don't like Maya at all, but we love how ZBrush works. And yeah, so there's artists that basically this is more natural for them, the way to work this way. And then there are artists where it is, they like kind of more of the VFX-y type of stuff. So. I mean, there's a definitely learning curve to both, but it depends on how you like to work. And for me, this is it. All right, this is looking a lot better. Let's see, how are we doing on time? I'm doing okay. Yeah, you're using BDBs in Octane. I've done that. It's pretty neat. Octane is good. I still have a license of it. Yeah, there's just so many renders. Oh my gosh. There's Octane, there's Redshift, there's Arnold, there's yeah, it's hundreds of them. All right, I'm going to check something here real quick. Filtering. All right, yeah, nope, those guys are not here. I think they've kind of figured it out that they can't do anything here. What's this? Notifications. Enable text to speech. No, I don't want to do that right now. All right, so this is kind of looking a little bit better than before. Let's bring everything back and see if it works with the rest of the model, and then we'll start working on another area. I think the legs we've spent enough time on for now. Oh, this thing is somewhere else. I was wondering where these were. Are these somewhere? Where are they? No, they're there. I just had them off. All right, well, now I got to work with them. And then there's this thing too, which I don't need anymore. I think I'm going to delete that. Goodbye. But this one over here, I might be able to do something with this. I don't know. I'm going to leave it here for another day. Here I go saying I'm not going to work on the legs anymore. And what am I doing? Working on the legs. Alright, so with these parts, I'm going to leave them for another day. I'm going to move on to another one of these objects. So let's choose these arms. These arms look pretty good for the most part. Let's bring out these ones, these ones, these ones. Alright, so the hull's pretty good. I think this top arm is pretty good as well. I think I could put some details to hide some of the weird wobbliness that's over here. That's bugging me, and we spent a lot of time on this arm, but not on the extremities. There are these weird things over here, which I kind of like, but I also think we can do better. So let's hide them for now. I think my voice is starting to get lower because I'm starting to get tired, but I'm not as tired as I was last week. Last week I was bushed. Last week was crazy at work. This week it was still crazy, but not as bad. What are we working on? Can we like center subtools to other subtools? How can we center subtools and other subtools? I don't. Can you be more specific, Fritz Lang? By the way, Metropolis is definitely one of my favorite movies. Brilliant for its time. Still, still going strong. Like, stuff in it is still happening today. But yeah, what do you mean by centering subtools on other subtools? I'm sure it can be done. I just don't know exactly what you're trying to do. I don't want to answer a different question. I want to answer your question. Oh, coordinates. Well, I mean, that's kind of one of the things about ZBrush is like, I mean, there are coordinates, right? You can always go down here to deformation, and where are you? You can offset. So offset is the one, and then you can put in X, Y, and Z, and then you can just put in a number. But it's really, coordinates is not really the way ZBrush works. So if you want to center something on something else, there are alignment things that you just added, actually, that's brand new. So I think, where are they? Under subtool and distribute, right? So there is ways to align things. So align centers, align, distribute left edges, distribute horizontal edges, right edges, etc. So there's this, and then there's also align. So there's align and there's distribute. There's two ways of kind of aligning things together. So aligning centers, here it is. This would do the align center. So if you have two parts, you just click on this button and it will align the centers for you. It will align all visible subtools. So here, let's just go to something else here. I'm not going to use this model, but let's go ahead and go over to here. I think this is going to be crazy if I do that. No, I'm not going to do it with this one. Well, let's hide all of them and let's just show a few. Like, let's say this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, And watch, these are all aligned already. So funny. All right, let's go somewhere else. Let's go like, oh my God. I'm just going to go all the way to the bottom. Let's see. All right, here we go. These are not aligned. Okay, so let's say, well, these three are, but I'm just going to randomly pick things all over the place. I guess it's visually picking these would be easier. Okay, I've got 3 subtools here, and I want to get them aligned. So I just go down here, and I say, okay, align them to center, and now all their centers are aligned. Although it doesn't really look like it. Here we go. One more click. Now their centers are all aligned this way. And then I can go over here and I can say, okay, now I want them to be aligned this way. Now their centers are aligned this way, right? So it's pretty neat. These things are really good. So this align and this distribute is really good ways of kind of getting things to align. Reset transformation button will set the coordinates to 0. So reset transformation, there is no reset transformation in here, but you can do something similar with the Gizmo, right? So here, let me just go to this thing, right? So there's this W, and let's say if you click on this button right here, it will set the Gizmo on the button. And then if you want to reset the transformation for it, you can just hold Alt down or unlock, you can unlock it, or hold Alt down and click on Home, and that will reset the transformation. And if you want this thing to move to the center, right, you just click this first, and then without holding Alt, you just click this, and this will bring it to the center, right? So there is no like reset transformation, or like my pet peeve in Maya is delete history. Oh my God, the history thing in Maya drives me nuts. But yeah, there's none of that in here. All right. See, this thing scrolled up like quite a bit. Let me just read all these things. Man, today has been like Conversation Central. It's great. I love it. Okay. What am I working on? Okay. Bhavana. Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Change the pivot axis point on all subtools. Will the Gizmo let you change the pivot point axis point on all subtools? The way, if you want to work on all subtools in with the Gizmo, you just have to click on this button right here, which is, lovingly called the pizza boxes by the Pixelogic folks. So basically, if you just click on this button, then you basically are moving all of the subtools. Right, so right now I've got this one subtool selected, and if I click on the pizza boxes, and then I'm moving all of them at the same time. And also, what's really cool is you can just select, like you can just select these two, and then these two, you can see they kind of have these dashed line, gray lines around them. So you do have the pizza boxes on. Now you're moving just these two parts because these ones are deselected. And then you can just kind of add this to that deselection set. Now you're just moving this one, and then you can add this one back, right? And then if you want to add this one back, you can as well. So now I'm just moving those 3 parts and not moving that one. So yeah, the pizza boxes are pretty good. The Gizmo is really powerful. Like, it's such an amazing way to work. And I find myself like doing Gizmo type stuff when I go to cinema or when I go to Maya, and I'm like, oh no, this doesn't do it here. Okay. How can you change the axis so it'll be customized to any point on the subtool? Oh, it's pretty easy. So let's say you have this subtool right here, right? And I'm just going to solo it, bring it here to the attention. So right now, the Gizmo is nowhere on the subtool, right? Let me bring up the polyframe. And suppose I want to put the Gizmo right here. If I hold Alt and click, it puts the Gizmo right on that point, right? And then if I click and drag, so if I hold Alt down and click on the subtool and then drag, I can lock it in. So now it's basically locked to the top of this, right? There it is. So easy, so simple. It's just like, this is how I like. And now if I want to, you know, have it be oriented this way, click, drag, you know, get to another point. Now it's oriented that way. And if I want to make this longer, I just do this and this. And I'm making this longer. I guess I don't need to select this over here. Yeah, it's the way that you can get things done faster in ZBrush is really amazing. I'm just going to grow this mask further like this, and I just want to select these 2 points as well. Still have a point that is deselected over here. One more, I think. And then I can just move this down. So it's just moving along that line. Hopefully this is what you wanted. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. This Gizmo is like, you know, God's gift. And I mean, even before the Gizmo, you could do these kinds of things with the transpose tool. That was pretty cool too. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty, the Gizmo in ZBrush is pretty amazing. Like in my current class that I teach at Nomen, I spend almost a whole class just talking about the Gizmo. And there are videos about it. Like none of this stuff is secret. It's all out there for you to use. All right, so let's get back here to what we're working on. I think we're working on this arm right here. Right, so I'm just going to hide some things. I don't need to see the top arms or the hull, and I don't need to see these arms here either. I just want to make this part right here work somehow. So you can see this is a Kitbash part, and it's decent for the most part, but like you see, this part right here is just like got so much topology, but the rest of it is not bad. As far as Kitbash parts go, this is not bad. I think this is from Oleg Ushinok. I'm probably not saying his name correctly, but hopefully he'll forgive me. He's got some nice Kitbash kits. I just wish they were all sub D. Man, time is flying by, but I don't feel good. I think we've done some good progress today. I keep tweaking these every time, and they get better and better and better, and that's kind of how things work. You know, you just kind of leave it for a while, come back to it, and then make some modifications. All right, so I just need to fix this thing right here. I'm going to switch to topological and pull this out. There's a piece inside. God damn it. All right, let's see. All right, Kumar, thank you for tuning in. What time is it over where you are? Hopefully it's not too late or too early. Oh, good. It's probably Saturday morning. All right, so I've got a little bit of discrepancy. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to delete this inside part. I don't need it. So delete polygroup or just island. That's not it. Zemo, no, not edge actions. I want polygon actions. All right, polygon actions, delete island. And this is a tricky one. I'm going to make my brush size smaller so I don't delete something I don't want to delete. And there we go. That solved that problem. Now the other thing I also want to do is I don't know if I want these borders on this. So I'm going to get rid of them. So you can see, even though I do a lot of kit bashing, I never use things right out of the box. I always make modifications and changes to them because I think as good as they are, they're, you know, specifically made for specific things, and those things are probably not what I'm needing them for. Like when he made these cables, he never probably just sold this piece out. He never thought somebody's going to be using these things for mech legs. I've got a Discord clicking. I wonder if it's my Mid-Journey one. Oh, I should show you guys. So this is kind of, I've been doing this work on Mid-Journey where I have been, I put in a prompt and it gives me this. I'm just kidding. It doesn't. You put in a prompt and it just gives you garbage. I mean, it doesn't give you garbage. It gives you great stuff, but it's not what you want, right? So this is from like maybe about, changing a prompt and tweaking it like a whole bunch of times and doing variations and up-resing or whatever. So this is made from a lot of Mid-Journey images, right? So maybe about 20 or 30 images. And then I just photo bash. And then after I'm done with that, I do a paint over. So I've done that for these two things, right? I did this first, and I was blown away at what I could do. And then I did this one afterwards, right? So if you guys want to see this, go to my Instagram, which is Kermaco. Instagram/Kermaco, I guess. And you can subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing another one maybe tomorrow morning if I have time. So yeah, here I mean there's 3 that I've done so far. Well, 4 actually. This one I modified with a little bit of paint, but it is from Mid-Journey. This one is a photo bash. This one is a photo bash, and this one is a photo bash. And I'm thinking of creating a small tutorial and selling it at some point of how I do this. But it's pretty nice. Pretty quick process of just kind of getting some really nice, compelling things with Mid-Journey. I started using Dolly. That's pretty neat. It gives you very photorealistic stuff, but and there's a new one too. Like, you know, this is like the new thing, AI image generators. And there's so many people talking about it. Oh my God. Just like, it's going to take our jobs and it's all over for artists. And come on, people. Give it a rest. Did I delete something? Yeah, all right. So I'm going to put a cable, another cable. Oops. Don't want to do that. I want to put another cable kind of down on this arm. So what have I hid? Did I hide stuff on this arm, or did I delete stuff? I'm just going to go back in time a little bit. I know I deleted those rings, but did I delete anything else? Or nope, I didn't. Okay. I love this little time machine kind of thing that ZBrush has. Another thing that I look for in other programs, and nothing has it. I mean, there's a history thing in Photoshop, which is similar, but not exactly. But yeah, people are like, oh, AI is going to take our jobs, and then, you know, geez, give it a rest. And most of these people have never even tried it. Like, they don't even know what's going on. They're like, oh, well, this image is really neat. I mean, it does produce neat images, okay, great, but it doesn't really produce the exact image that you want. So, like, a director isn't going to come in and go like, okay, you know, give me a Pandora, you know, oceanscape, and it's not going to be like, oh, here it is, you know, Mr. James Cameron, here's your Pandora oceanscape. Like, it's never going to happen like that. At least not with what's out there or the technology that, you know, like poor what's his name couldn't even get his Wacom tablet to work, let alone like have AI replace a human being in a job. I mean, I'm sure it'll do some of the tasks, but you still need people to do these things that they do. All right, let's see. All right, so 9 a.m., 1:30 p.m. All right, so it looks like there's a lot of different people from different time zones. What makes do you... Okay, what I'm making is a mech, this thing right here. Interestingly, I'm making this mech based on an image that AI generated based on my artwork. So it's like, you know, going back and forth twice. I come home, start learning ZBrush, build days. I feel so that I was not able to practice. I learn daily. Well, the best way to stay motivated is just, I think, just think about the work that you want to do. And if you're not doing that work, that's the motivation, is to do the work you want to do. If you're working somewhere and you're spending too much time doing things you don't want to do, work somewhere else. I don't know. I mean, I always do that when I'm on a project. I'm like, you know, do I really want to work on this project? And that's what's being freelance was nice about being freelance, is like, if you're working on a project, even though you hate it, you know you're going to be gone after a while. So, you know, you're not going to be doing the same, you know, thing forever. But if you're working at a job where you're not really, you know, doing what you want to do, I would definitely say do something else. Or if your job is not teaching you things you want to learn, you know, you're wasting your life. That would be my advice. And hopefully the people that are hiring you for the things that you want to do. They're not hiring you to make you do things you don't want to do. That would be kind of funny too. Sorry if that makes sense or not. All right, let's see. I can't share my work with you. I'm under NDA. I can't do any of that. Maybe at some point I can, but now I just, you know, unfortunately, and I don't really have it here either. It's at the office. What part do you want to focus on? I mean, ZBrush is really, there's a lot you can do. It depends on what you want to do. Again, like look at artists. I think the best thing you can do is look at artists, look at their art, and then see what they're doing, and then focus on that. So on ZBrush Live, for example, I do more hard surface mechanical things. There are artists that do jewelry. There are artists that do you know, biological insects and animals. There are artists that do kind of stylistic, cartoon-looking stuff. So Kumar, whatever you want to do, find an artist that is doing it and learn what they are doing. I think that would be a good way to kind of, you know, at least kind of get it under control. Because yeah, there's a lot of things to learn, and I mean, you know, I look like I just am doing this in my sleep, but you know, I've been using ZBrush since 2005, so it's a lot of years. Okay. Towards online for almost anything. Yeah, that's true. Fritz Lang is right. There are tons of tutorials, so just pick what you want and then learn that. Okay, so now for this cable, I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier. This part is still kind of bugging me because it's wobbly. I think I'm going to delete some parts here. And I kind of hate to do that because these are pretty neat, but I've messed with them so much that they don't look like mechanical parts. They look kind of wobbly. All right, let's do the cable first. So is there a part in here? How's that working? I'm just going to do a cross section of this and see what's inside. Oh, wow. Okay. So this part in here, so again, this is another problem with Kitbash parts. These two tubes that are in here, the normals are flipped, right? So they have flipped normals on them. So I could either isolate them. They're kind of neat. I might want to keep them, but I'd have to fix them. All right, so the way I'm going to do that, here's another nifty way of doing it, is I'm just going to polygroup them and then split, just select those polygroups and split them. All right, so I'm just going to go to ZModeler, polygroup island. 1 and 2. Let's bring everything. Oops, and then let me go. But let's just select here. Let's bring everything back, and then just select these. And we'll just select these guys that are the problem children, and split them. Split hidden. So now these are on their own. Now if I hit on double, you guys can see that the normals are flipped. So I just go over here to display properties and flip, and now they're good. And let's bring everything back. So now you can see that these parts are working well. And if I want to, I could merge them back down, but I can leave them this way too. All right, so now that I did this, I kind of want to run a cable that goes through this hole and goes into that. Where is that cable gonna come from? Let's see. And let's say that cable goes into this thing somehow. All right, so same thing as I did before. I think I might still have that tube. I do. And I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to already kind of make that tube into, well, yeah, I'm just going to copy and paste it. I think I was going to say I'm going to add the divisions or whatever, but I don't know what it's going to look like, so I'm just going to bring it in first. Paste, it's going to come in huge, I think. There it is. Make it smaller. All right, and it's going to go over here like this. And it's going to go into that thing that we just did, which might not even show. So there, and just kind of get a starting point going. Let's see. I don't need to see the legs. See, that's the thing I did today. Is I just put all these in subgroups so I can hide like a big chunk of them if I don't need to see it. And then make this a little bit longer. So it's going to go up until like about there. And let's give it a little bit of slack because we're going to bend it. So I think that is about good enough lengthwise, maybe. Yep. Okay, let's move this up, move it over. All right, now we're going to solo it out. Go to the Gizmo and do not extender. We're gonna do, where is it? Slicer. Where are you? Slice, slice, slice. Multi-slice. That's what it is. And there it is. And then let's add these divisions. It's always good to add divisions until like you see these being square. Right now they're still rectangular. I guess this is as far as it can go. Let's make it less for now. Let's see if that works. I'm not going to let it autosave for now. F, there it is. And then now I'm going to accept that. And I'm going to go into bend curve. And it still has the same number it had before. All right, so now I just want to position this where I want it to go. Maybe like that, and then bring it around this way. Now for this one, I might need to add a few more, here we go. Maybe not that many. Let's see how it works. Yeah, that's too many. Less. One less. There we go. And for now, I'm just going to kind of do this to it. Yeah, but definitely, you know, at some point it'd be cool to show the stuff I'm working on. Hopefully I'll get a chance to at some point soon. But now it's all still under wraps. All right, so now this is kind of coming along well. Now what's really nice is if I want to inflate this, I can. If I want it to be fatter cable, it's just as easy as using the inflate deformer. So I'm just going to inflate this. It needed to be a little bit thicker. It's so funny. After all the thing we did with those two little plugs over here, I don't think we're even going to see them. Unless I make them bigger. I don't know. We'll see. I think this might go into here. I think that's how I'm going to resolve that one. Like that. And let's add some more points. So you can see here, you just don't want to start out with too many points, because then it's like a lot of points to move. And here, I need another point right here, but maybe I can just get away with, oh, wait, maybe we are going to see those things. I'm probably going to have to add more points to make that work. So let's do that. Is this the point adding thing? No, I think it's this one. Right, so now I have a whole bunch of different points, which becomes hell to use, but it's going to work fine for me to do this right here, like that. And, yep. I can't tell you how much I love this capability in ZBrush. Like, it's just totally cool. Today. All right. I haven't been paying attention to the chat. I apologize. I will look in just a minute. All right. Whoa, how did it move off of the center of this thing? Here we go. Let's back in. So see, I can go back and forth with adding and removing points. It kind of somehow didn't go through this point there for a minute. Okay, and again, if I want to make this if I want to make this bigger or fatter, I can just use inflate. I think it's okay. I need to push it in a little bit this way. Yeah, it's not really working with that corner, so I'm just going to bring it more to the center. Here we go. And then there was a weird tweak over here I need to make. but I need more points for that, so let's add more points. Just want to straighten this out like that. Okay, so that's done. And let's see. Oh man. Well, you can always, like, you know, just for little tweaks, you can always use the move tool too to just kind of get that into that hole. That's good. Now, what I want to do is I want to make part of this tube thicker than the other part. So I'm just going to mask all this like that, and then inflate the rest. All right, that's what I want to do right there, and I'm just want to mirror that to the other side. Yes, awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so now I want to create something on top of this that will house that. Oh man, we're almost out of time. It's okay. I'll stay a little bit longer because I know I started a bit late, so that'll be cool. I'm having a good time. You guys are being wonderful, so why not work some more? Trying to find a part that will work in that area. Actually, I'm just going to use one of my brushes, so I'm just going to go back into here, and I'm just going to go ahead and insert polymesh 3D, which basically is my my brush set, my brush kit here that I sell, and there's also a free version. So I'm just going to use the capsule. This one, and I'm just going to use that instead of bringing in a Kitbash kit part. This will work pretty good for what I need it to do. And I'm just going to leave it at this subdivision level because, I mean, whatever I bring in, I'm going to subdivide later, so might as well save myself some time. So here, I'm just going to get this aligned. And basically, I'm just kind of creating a thing here where this plugs into there like that. Yeah, if you guys don't have my primitives kit, my primitives brush, definitely go and grab it from my Gumroad. At least get the free one. It's definitely well worth it. For, you know, if you want to get the pro one, it's well worth it as well. But if you can't afford it, then just get the free one. It just has less brushes, but I think it does have. I think it does have the capsule. I forget. I made that thing such a long time ago. I forget what's in it now. But basically, yeah, it's just on my Gumroad. So if you go to my Instagram, right? If you go to my Instagram, if you click on my link tree, it links to my Gumroad, and this is them right here. So there is this one, and then there's this one, the 17, which I guess the pill is not in the 17 one. But you can get this one. It's $2.50. I should increase the price because of inflation, but I haven't since I made it. I might do that at some point. Why not? Everything else I'm buying is more expensive, so I guess I could just join that train. Right, let's see here. I'm just going to align this. And yeah, that looks good. And so I'm just going to duplicate it onto the other side. There it is. Okay, so that looks a little bit better. I like the way that that cable is flowing. So this is looking a little bit more compelling now. Let me tweak it some more. Oops. So basically, if I don't get the chance to work on this offline, I'm probably going to just work on this thing for a while. But another thing I also want to do, and I might just put this project on hold and do that, and then come back to this at some point later on. But another thing I want to do is these things that I'm making in Midjourney, like these things, I want to model this. I want to make this in ZBrush. So, I mean, for now, I think I'm kind of having fun doing this Mech, but if I at some point start getting tired of it, then I'll just put it on hold, put it on ice, and then do the other thing, which shouldn't take me long to do a bust, and then come back to this when I miss it, which I probably will, because it's pretty cool. All right, how are we doing on time? We're doing great. All right, let me see if there's anybody. Oh man, a bunch of new messages. Sorry, guys. It seems like traditional poly modeling instead of clay. Yeah, that's true. I do work this way in ZBrush, which, you know, freaks people out. Especially CG supervisors, like they come in, they're like, well, you know, I want you to do this kind of stuff, and I'm like, well, that's kind of not how I use ZBrush, bud. Yeah, it's I do. This is more like poly modeling. It's combining poly modeling and combining sculpting. So I use the best of ZBrush as well as the best of hard surface as well as the best of poly modeling. Hey, Lindsay Dent, how's it going? Hello back. Oh, don't worry about spelling errors like anybody cares anymore. It's just like, you know, punctuation, spelling, out the window. Direct link to my stuff. Best way to see my stuff is just go to my website. It's pretty straightforward. It's Kermaco, Kermaco.com. And here's all of my artwork. You can see all the stuff that I've done. So we can see all my mechs. You can see my characters. So you can see I do organic stuff sometimes. I do vehicles, and I need to put most of my stuff on here. But my newest stuff is on my Instagram. So if you want to see my latest stuff, it's on Instagram. So for example, now I'm kind of doing some of this Midjourney stuff, but before that I was working with Disco Diffusion. All these Disco Diffusion images are just straight out of Disco Diffusion. I didn't really photo bash them, but that is definitely an intent. And then back to some older ZBrush stuff. So I just do organic stuff like this too. So this is more sculptural, right? This is more sculptural. This was from last season. Yeah, so all the stuff has not made it to my website just yet. One of these days I will put them on there, but I have a slot in my calendar. This is from a ZBrush stream. This is one season we built this mech. So basically I put a thing on my calendar to work on the website at a certain part of the year, and that's a ways off, so I'll put some of that stuff on there later on. Oh no, look at these guys. They finally came in. Ha ha ha, how funny. And they're not listed. Oh, sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. All right, I think I know who it is, so I will boot them next time. I apologize for all this stuff. 69. All right, let's see if I can find him. At least kick him before I close down. No, I don't know who it is, but anyway, next time they will be gone. So, all right, yeah, they did. Okay, so I guess I will just end this now. Again, thank you all for logging in to the stream, and hopefully you've picked up a few things. Again, if you have questions, leave them in the comments, And I'm on every other Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. Los Angeles time. And I will be on next Friday as well. So thanks again for tuning in. And good day, good night, good whatever time it is where you are. And happy